Do you feel stuck at all in your life? Do you have the experience of you're trying to get to the next level, you want to grow, and you can't, or you keep getting stuck, or you're having the same repeating thoughts? Oftentimes, what happens for people, clients that I see in my private practice, are that we have some inner child healing to do. And it almost sounds cliche at this point and kind of old school, but it's really true. A lot of women and men that I talk to, when we go through the concerns that they're having, the feelings that they're having, the repetitive patterns that they can't seem to heal, it often comes back to that place inside of us where we have an old wound, where we have not healed our inner child. It makes perfect sense, right? For most of us, we didn't have the validation or the attunement or the acknowledgement that we needed and desired or required from our caregivers. So, if you're anything like me, right, Generation X, our parents were baby boomers. They were parenting very differently. And the way we're trying to do it now and talking about it now was not how they did it then. So, who amongst us didn't experience some kind of trauma as children or didn't come from family lineages where there was trauma? Not many people that I meet or that come to me. So, when we start to dive in and look at, okay, where are these old patterns? Where are they coming from? Why are you feeling stuck? What's in the way? What is the energy? What is the fear? It's often a very old part, it's a very young part, and it's a part that felt neglected or pushed away, right? And as we've grown and we've gotten older, of course, we do push those parts away sometimes. We just want to be going on with our lives. We're adults now. We don't want to have to deal with it. But those parts of us that are unhealed, that were wounded children, they will come up again and again until they are validated and seen, until they are acknowledged, until we integrate those aspects of ourselves. I have an image that I use that really helps me with these parts of myself. So there's the bus, right? And I'm driving the bus, and the adult me is on the bus in the front. I'm driving and I've got it under control. But in the very back is the youngest, oldest part of me. And I give her a sucker and I give her a blanket, and she is sleeping in the back. And then somewhere in the middle is like a teenage part of me who is mouthing off and being rebellious, probably not sitting down and saying things out the window that she should not be saying. And then here in the front is the grown, present, capable adult self me who is in my life now. And this image is really powerful because if we can acknowledge those parts, that they're there, that they exist, if we can give them a job, but assure them that we're in charge, then they don't have to try to subconsciously ruin our relationships or our lives. So imagine those different parts of you that are coming up, and what do they need? They need to be reparented. They need to be talked to. So it's a beautiful reparenting exercise. If you can just pull up those younger parts of yourself and ask them what they need to hear, or just imagine what you would say to your child self if you could see her or him or hold them. What would you say? What did you need whispered in your ear or said to you as you were crying or being held by the adults around you when you were young? The beautiful part of healing, especially from a spiritual perspective, is that there is no time as we know it, right? It is the great expanse of now. And we have the possibility to heal through the future and through the past in all directions and dimensions. There is no linear time. So when we acknowledge and validate a wounded part of ourselves and we talk to that child and we tell them, and I'll just go ahead and do it for you because sometimes I think we need this modeled. So here's what I say to my younger self: I see you. I hear you. This is really hard. You're really having a hard time with this. It's painful. You didn't like that. You didn't want that to happen. I'm here for you. Cry as long as you need. Take up as much space as you need. Your feelings don't scare me. I will sit here with you. It's okay. When you're done crying, I'll be here and I'll hold you, and no rush. Feel your feelings. You can cry as long as you want to. Those are the things that I was never told, and a lot of us were never told, right? My life, it was more like, what are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about, or, there's no reason for you to be crying, all that sort of stuff. So when we do this for ourselves and we reparent and we talk to ourselves the way that we would have wanted to, we heal those wounds and we integrate those parts of ourselves that have been separate. And we acknowledge and validate, right? I'm sure you've heard name it to tame it, or feel it to heal it. So, talking to these parts of ourselves, thinking about what it was like for us when we were younger, can help us to integrate those parts now and allow us to have healthier relationships. Now, if you're a parent, this is where this can often show up. I know for myself, my daughter is a deeply feeling being. She's a firecracker. She has really big emotions. She takes up a lot of space. She's not afraid to tell me how she feels, what she likes, what she doesn't like. She will yell, she will stomp, she will scream. And it's been a lot of work in my life to find my center and to do my best to remain unruffled when my daughter loses control. When she first started losing control, when she was younger and I was first experiencing this, I didn't know what to do. And there was part of me sometimes in the beginning that would get sucked into it. She would start having a tantrum, then I would start having a tantrum. And that is not being the adult in the relationship. And that is what happened to me when I was younger. And we so desperately need someone who can be competent and strong, who can be a leader, who is not afraid of our feelings, and that we can fall apart in front of them. And they're okay with that. And they're going to know what to do. So that's not what I had as a child. So a lot of my self healing comes around learning how to be an adult in relationship with my child and not perpetuate those codependent tendencies that I learned in my past. So it takes meditation for me. It takes going to a therapist. It took a lot of breathing and a lot of brainwashing, listening to podcasts, reading books. And one thing I've learned in my journey as a teacher and working as an early childhood teacher and as a healer is that when we did not have the opportunity to get mad or take up space or share our feelings really big when we were young and little. And then we're a parent and we see our children doing things that we never got to do. Nobody let us rage or mouth off or have these big feelings. And a lot of times, I know for myself and what happens for many others is we want to shut that down. We can't believe this being is doing all this stuff that we never got to do, we didn't allow ourselves to do, or we didn't have the parents to allow us to do it. And it can trigger all those repressed emotions. It can trigger all the things that we shut down inside ourselves. So, learning to be the adult, to take deep breaths, to be present, to allow our children to have their feelings and their emotions, but not to melt down and match that energy, but to actually hold space. That is so healing. It's healing for our children. It's going to heal the future generations, and it helps to heal us in our past, right? So, one more thing I wanted to say about that is that when we're parenting, I think one of the biggest themes is that we want to make sure we're pairing in a way that's authoritative. So, what many of us grew up with was like the authoritarian, where it's just my way or the highway. I'll give you something to cry about. You're not going to, share your feelings here, or we're going to shut you down, right? We're going to get you to be quiet. Or there's the very permissive way where there was no boundaries, no guidance, no direction. So, what we want is that sweet spot in the middle that's authoritative, where we have high warmth and high boundaries. So, for many people today, especially parents, what we're healing is the ways that we were not met, that we either often were met with one extreme or the other, and that it's a marriage of the two. And we have to have boundaries with our children, and we have to have high warmth. You can't just say my way or the highway. You better do what I say because I said so. If you don't match that with high warmth of like, this is the expectation and this is the boundary, but I also am going to give you lots of affection and attention and presence and love and listening and validation. I'm going to gently redirect you, or I'm going to hold a strong boundary. And another word about boundaries is that I think many times people get confused and they think, my boundary is what you need to do. And that's not how boundaries work. Boundaries are what I will or won't do. So if you continue to treat me that way, I will leave. Or if you do that again, we're going home in the case of having a child. It's so important that as parents that we have a backbone, that we have boundaries, that we set those boundaries that with our children, and that we also match it with high warmth. When we can heal in this authoritative, responsible, competent leader way, we heal for our children, we heal for future generations, and we shift the paradigm and the lineage and what's passed down. Thanks for joining with me today.